Hey, what's going on, Upstate Speedtests? Welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see right behind me over here, wherever I can point my finger, we're here today to get an oil change at my car dealership here in Vestal, New York. And the part of Vestal we're in is a notorious black hole. All the shopping plazas are just off to our right over there. So we'll do some speed tests while we wait for the car to get its oil changed. We'll do outside of the dealership where we are now. And then while we're inside waiting, we'll run all the tests again on our Pixel 9 Pro XL running on AT&T and the iPhone, which has T-Mobile and Verizon hooked up on it. And I did just sign up for Boost Mobile. However, I haven't received the eSIM yet or the email that would allow me to download the eSIM. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But I do plan on having Boost Mobile for the next 3 months while the promo pricing still applies, the $15 pricing that's going on right now. So yeah, without further delay, let's get testing. Give the video a thumbs up if you'd like. If you appreciate the content and want to help support the channel, links are down in the video description. Let's go. All right, I'm going to do the best I can to get both providers in the shot at the same time. We've got Verizon running on top right now and AT&T running on the bottom. AT&T connected to their 5G Plus, and Verizon stuck on 2 bars of LTE that I wouldn't be surprised if it's coming from one of the small cells, either on the gas station down the road or the shopping plazas behind us. And there's been an update to the Ookla app, so now when the test is done running, it gives you a score out of, looks like 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 dots. It grades what the usage would be for your connection. So web browsing, gameplay, video streaming, and you got video conferencing, things like FaceTime, obviously. So on this one, we've got 36.6 on the down, 6.5 on the up, 48 millisecond unloaded ping. The loaded ping times are awful, and the jitter's 1, which is fine. So looking at it here, if you're just browsing the web, it's going to be fine. Oop, and I triggered it again. And then everything else was graded kind of poorly. When I run the same tests on my fiber connection at home, everything is usually full bars unless I'm pretty far from the router. Then I lose like 1 dot out of the 5, which isn't a big deal. But coming down here and looking at AT&T, the Android app has not yet received the same upgrade, but AT&T cooking with gas in this location. We got 379 on the download, 8.45 on the up, and we've got 59 millisecond unloaded. The loaded ping time on the down is actually okay. It's not great, but not terrible. And on the upload, it's bad. Jitter at 10. So let's see, what did we get? We ran Verizon a second time over here, and we got 35.7 on the down and 6.72 on the up. And just to kind of point out where the infrastructure is, there's a huge hill in the distance that you're not going to be able to see from here with a macro on it that I've shown you guys before from the air. There's a small cell on top of a gas station, maybe half a mile up the road, and then there's small cells on top, one small cell on top of the Town Square Mall behind us that way. So yeah, that's kind of where the infrastructure is. So we've seen both providers outside the dealership here in what I would unhappily call a service black hole, just because I need it to work here. So Verizon outside is usable but not great. AT&T inside is usable but not great, and outside is actually pretty good. Let me switch over to T-Mobile next, and we will give them a test. Before we go and do that, though, we got to give a shout out to the video sponsor, our friends over at Circledin. Today's video is brought to you by Circledin. Circledin.com makes it super easy to get the benefits and savings that come along with a postpaid or prepaid wireless account without having to set one up yourself. Let's take just a second to see how easy it is to use Circledin.com and save a ton of money on your wireless. Starting out on the Circledin.com homepage, I would start by clicking All Circles. Once the page loads, you can sort by postpaid or prepaid providers like Verizon, T-Mobile, Google Fi, Simple Mobile, and Metro. If you see a plan that piques your interest or you feel fits you best, you can click Join Circle, read through more details about the plan, And if you decide to go for it, you can click Reserve. Circledin also now supports streaming services like Netflix, Disney, Hulu, HBO Max, and more. Circledin.com. Check them out today. Thank you again for supporting the channel. Welcome back, everybody. We've got T-Mobile fired up and ready to rock and roll. So obviously we got 3 bars of 5G Ultra capacity. And let's see what T-Mobile's cooking up here. Looks like we're going to break over 300 down. So we're running competitive with what AT&T had. AT&T had 379 down and 8.45 up. T-Mobile's actually a little slower at 342 down and a little tiny bit faster on the upload for T-Mobile. So all in all, if you're in this location, it's looking like, so far, your choices are AT&T or T-Mobile for reliable service. For whatever reason, Verizon's either congested here or the signal from the macro just isn't making it in this location. They could have a different tilt on the sector maybe than the other 2 guys. Who knows? It's hard to say without getting closer to the tower and actually looking at it in its current state. But anyway, want to give another shout out here to Stenson from the CoverageMap.com app. He recently pointed out on one of his videos a shortcut somebody made. I forget if it was him or somebody else, called the field test shortcut, and that brings up the field test mode that you used to have to only access by dialing the code to bring it up in the dialer. So you've got Verizon operating here with band 66, 10 megahertz. Now keep in mind, Verizon is in standby right now, so it's not going to show all of the bands. Maybe we'll go back and test again just to see it. But we're on T-Mobile. We're showing N25, 90 megahertz of bandwidth. Is that a glitch? Oh yeah, it just didn't update yet. So we're connected to N41 with 90 megahertz of bandwidth. The physical cell ID 905. I don't really pay that close attention to T-Mobile cell ID, so I can't tell you definitively where that's coming from. But I'll tell you what we will do. Let's run another test, and we'll keep it running in the background, and we'll pull up Stenson's shortcut here. I'll be sure to try and link his video either on screen or down in the video description, or perhaps both. So this is glitching because it says N25, but we're definitely connected to N41 here. Now, why it's only showing as 90 megahertz, I'm not sure, because in this we're in Broome County, New York right now. T-Mobile has 190 megahertz available, so I'm not sure where the other 100 megahertz went, but it could be. This field test mode for T-Mobile is kind of somewhat notoriously glitchy. So it could be a glitch. Let's switch over to Verizon again. And I just want to show you guys, see, I have another shortcut here, toggle data mode. It changes the data plan. I just want to show you guys, in my county, Verizon's rocking 200 megahertz of N77 right now. And I believe they actually have 220 something megahertz available, if I remember correctly. I don't know why I keep clicking on the email. Sorry about that. All right, so let's switch over here. Yeah, so we got N77 100 megahertz, and we've got band 66 10 megahertz. So right now the phone's using 110 megahertz of spectrum for Verizon, if this field test mode is to be believed. But we're only pulling 65. Now, granted, I did do a real quick switch on the modem there, so it probably wasn't fully ready. We'll run it, and you can see the rating system here on the bottom in this new update of Ookla. 4 bars if you're just web surfing. Gaming would be bad. Video streaming would be somewhat finicky, and video conferencing would be bad. I think it's the loaded ping times that it's rating these on, because gaming, you're putting a lot of load on the system, so. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this, but I think it's the loaded ping times that they're grading some of these on. So let's trigger that speed test again. And we'll go back to field test mode. And we'll see if we can get anything else to pop up. Because again, in most of the county, you're going to pull 200 megahertz for N77 on Verizon, but I think because of the poor signal condition here, as you can see in the upper right, we're only getting 1 bar. I think because of the poor signal condition, it's failing to pull in that other 100 megahertz, but I could be wrong. Let's scroll down. Are we connected to anything else? No, we're not. And let's see what that speed test capped out at. Oh, it crashed, I think. We'll let it start, and then we'll go back again. The unloaded ping for Verizon was pretty good that time, and the loaded pings aren't, well, they're bouncing all over the place. Whoops. So let's go back to field test mode. And yeah, again, like I keep saying, you should be seeing 200 megahertz here, especially with a load put on the phone, but the poor signal, I think, is preventing that here. Let's see, what do we end up getting? Yeah, so these, to be honest, these speeds are not much better than you would have seen on LTE in this situation. But again, poor signal strength, I think, is hindering our performance here. The tower is, maybe a mile to somewhere between a mile and 2 miles off in the distance. And it's, I think, depending on where the sector is pointed, especially here in Vestal, given the congestion and the busy area, I think it's affecting our signal and our speeds in this particular location. All right, let's go inside and test inside the dealership, and we'll see how it performs there on all 3. All right, so I'm not really a big fan of recording voiceovers, but it was a very loud environment inside the waiting area of the dealership, so this is the route I chose to go with it. AT&T on the right, obviously, and Verizon on the left. AT&T, like I mentioned earlier, was usable but not very impressive inside the dealership, as Verizon errors out on the left side here. I did give it one more try, and the results weren't much different at all. AT&T's upload was borderline unusable, but 1 megabit per second, you can still make use of that. Not anything amazing though. And yeah, Verizon dead to rights inside the dealership. Not a great scenario for them, as my notifications keep popping up here. So I, of course, forgot to go in and mute it or put on Do Not Disturb mode. Anyway, switching over to T-Mobile, we'll run them next on the left side. Left side is the iPhone 16 Pro Max, by the way, in case you didn't know. And yeah, we'll give T-Mobile a shot next, and we'll run AT&T again here just for kicks on the right side. And this is a big metal building, metal roof, kind of in the middle of the building as well. So can't say I'm really that surprised at the performance that was going on or not going on in Verizon's case. But yeah, here comes T-Mobile and AT&T side by side. So T-Mobile with a 38 millisecond ping and bursting well over 400 down to start out. AT&T not running much better than the first attempt there, but still usable. So T-Mobile 456 on the down. The loaded ping times are pretty good considering the environment, deep indoors and under a metal roof. T-Mobile's upload obviously connected to N41. We're not going to get anything too impressive indoors. And yeah, in general, T-Mobile's upload, unless you're right on top of the tower, T-Mobile's upload is the weakness right now on N41, although one of the towers on my drive to work, I noticed that they must have turned on more carrier aggregation, especially on the upload, because this morning on my way to work, I did get close to 180 on the upload for T-Mobile. But again, that was right on top of a tower, and I think they've enabled some new or more carrier aggregation on 5G. Not really sure. I'll have to go back to that site and give it a test on when I have more time to dedicate to that. So this time we're getting a little bit better upload on T-Mobile, almost 3 megabits per second on the up, and fast.com test on AT&T on the right side, pulling a little bit better speeds than Ookla, but nothing too crazy. All in all, T-Mobile and AT&T usable inside the dealership here in Vestal, New York. and T-Mobile clearly taking the crown for the indoor test here at the dealership. And yeah, sorry about the voiceover, but the environment, especially the acoustic environment, was not ideal. And last but not least, we will finish out the indoor round of testing by showing you guys the dealership's free public Wi-Fi, which of course, being in the Binghamton area, it was Spectrum. And, Spectrum's Wi-Fi in the dealership, very usable, but it was dropping in and out a lot, which wasn't really Spectrum's fault, probably the dealership and whatever equipment they were using. But 272 on the down, 47 millisecond unloaded ping time, which actually, now that I think about it, that's a little bit higher than what T-Mobile was getting.